If you've ever felt completely stuck in your genealogy research, you're not alone. You may have spent hours searching, checking records, following every lead you could find, and then suddenly everything just stops. It can feel frustrating, even discouraging. But here's something that may surprise you. Most brick walls are not caused by missing records. They're caused by a few very common mistakes. And the good news is, once you recognize those mistakes, you can often move forward again. In this video, I'm going to walk you through 5 of those mistakes and how to fix them. Hi, I'm Barbara from AncestrySeeking.com, and I help family historians research, organize, and preserve their family history. Over the years, I've seen many people run into the same kinds of roadblocks, and often the solution is simpler than it first appears. So let's walk through the 5 most common mistakes that may be holding your research back. A genealogy brick wall is that moment when your research stops moving forward. You can't find new records, you can't confirm relationships, and no matter what you try, nothing changes. It can feel like you've reached the end of the road, but in many cases, it's not the end. It's just a signal that something needs to be looked at differently. Many brick walls are not as permanent as they seem. In fact, they are often created by small patterns in how we search, how we interpret records, or what we focus on. Once you recognize those patterns, you can begin to work around them. Let's start with mistake number 1. The first mistake is relying on just one spelling of a name. In the past, spelling was not standardized. Names were often written exactly as they sounded. So if you search only one version, you may miss the record entirely. For example, I've seen cases where a family name changed slightly from one census to another, just enough that a standard search didn't pick it up. Instead, try multiple variations. Say the name out loud. Think about accents and phonetic differences. Use wildcards when possible, because sometimes one small variation is the key to your breakthrough. Sometimes the difference is just 1 or 2 letters, but that's enough to hide the record completely. Mistake number 2 is assuming your ancestors stayed in one place, but families moved, sometimes more than we expect, for work, for family, or just for opportunity. If you only search one location, you may miss where they actually went. One thing I often recommend is to ask, where would this family likely go next? Expand your search. Look at nearby towns, neighboring counties, migration patterns, because often your ancestor is just outside the place you expected to find them. Instead of thinking in fixed locations, think in movement, because families often followed opportunity, not boundaries. Mistake number 3 is focusing only on the individual you're trying to find, but genealogy is about relationships. Sometimes the answer isn't attached to that person, it's attached to someone around them. For example, you might not find a birth record for your ancestor, but you may find it listed in a sibling's record, a marriage record, or even in a neighbor's household. Look at siblings, at parents, children, and neighbors, because those connections often lead directly to the missing piece. And if this is sounding familiar, you're not alone. These are some of the most common patterns I see in genealogy research. This is why looking beyond one individual can be so powerful. Mistake number 4 is relying on just one type of record. Most people start with census records, and that's a great place to begin, but it's not the whole story. Each record type tells a slightly different story. A census shows a snapshot in time. A newspaper might tell you what happened, and a land record might show movement or relationships. Try expanding your search to include newspapers, land records, military records, city directories, and probate records. Each of these adds another layer to your research. When you combine them, the picture becomes much clearer. Mistake number 5 is assuming you found the right person. It's easy to do, especially when names and locations seem to match. But even a small error can lead your research in the wrong direction. This is especially important when working with common names. Always verify. Check dates, check locations, and check relationships. Make sure everything fits together. Because one small mistake can create a brick wall that doesn't actually exist. It's very easy to attach the wrong record to the right person or the right record to the wrong person. And once that happens, it can send your research in the wrong direction for quite some time. If you feel stuck, sometimes the best thing you can do is pause, step back, and look at your research with fresh eyes, because often the clue you need is already there. It just hasn't been recognized yet. Sometimes stepping away, even for a day or two, can help you come back with a fresh perspective. And when you do, things that were unclear before may suddenly stand out. Remember this: your ancestor is not missing. The record is not gone. The path is just hidden. And when one path closes, another often opens. Every genealogist experiences this at some point. It's not a sign that you failed, it's part of the process. And often it's just one small shift that leads to a breakthrough. Let's quickly recap. Search name variations, not just one spelling, expand locations, search instead of searching only one location, research the whole family instead of only focusing one person, use multiple record types, not just one record, and lastly, verify your assumptions. Because assuming you found the right person can lead you into the wrong direction, avoid these, and you'll break through more brick walls than you expect. These may seem like small adjustments, but together, they can completely change how your research progresses. Thank you for joining me today. If this video helped you, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss future genealogy research tips. And if you'd like more step-by-step guidance, visit ancestryseeking.com, where you'll find additional resources to help you continue your research journey. Also, if you're currently working through a brick wall, I encourage you to revisit your research with these ideas in mind. You may be closer than you think. Wishing you all the best in your research.